Hello everybody, welcome. This is going to be the first video I've done. I showed you the introduction video, or hopefully you've seen it by now. But this is the first one with actual substance. We're going to be talking about the green team today. Specifically Summer League. There is not much going on outside of Summer League. Danny just said that they're not done making moves, but nothing's happened yet. No fireworks since Al Horford, which, not complaining, something will happen. And if not, hopefully it's for the right reasons. But Summer League is important. I assume you know what Summer League is. If not, it's where the draft picks and the D-Leaguers and the prospects of every team go and play in the summer. Just to show off their talents and show the coaches who usually are there, actual NBA team players are there to watch. Just show them what they have and show them their skills. It's really a showcase. So all the top picks in the draft are playing. And we're going to go over how the Celtics players of this year's draft and then last year and even the year before, how they're playing. We're going to go over my stars of the Summer League so far, my duds, and obviously we're going to go into Jaylen Brown because he's the number 3 overall pick and he is going to make this roster and he is supposed to be a star. He might not say superstar on him, but anytime you're drafted in a top 5 pick, you are being drafted to be an impactful player. Maybe not right away, definitely not right away, but eventually. So we're going to go over him too. Let's get right started. I believe they've played 5 games so far. They played one last night against the Suns. They got their butts handed to them. They had a late comeback at the end, but overall wasn't the best game. Terry Rozier was out, but let's get right into the stars. My star so far, number 1 star, is Terry Rozier. We drafted him last year out of Louisville, or the Celtics drafted him last year out of Louisville. We were kind of wondering, us fans were wondering, why did they draft him? Because they drafted Marcus Smart a year ago, and they had Isaiah Thomas in an already crowded backcourt. So drafting a point guard didn't make much sense with our first pick in the draft last year. He didn't get much playing time, but when he did play on the Celtics last year, there were moments where you said, okay, this kid's got something. Damian Lillard, before the draft last year, said that Terry Rozier is going to be a bad boy. He really believes in Terry Rozier. So there are reasons to like Terry Rozier, and we're hoping that he can have that first to second year leap. Hopefully he learned a few things. I mean, the first year is hard. That's what everybody says. So hopefully we can take that leap with him and see some improvement. And I've seen it so far in the Summer League, and I know that it's not the same thing, not even close. But the tangibles do matter in the Summer League, and he's controlling the game when he's on the court. Like I said, he didn't play last night, but in the other games that he has played, he is the manager on the court. He is the coach on the court. The ball goes through him. He sets up the plays. He's the point guard. I know he should do that. Everything that happens on the court is happening because of him. Good things. And they're good things. When he has the ball, he was drafted as a non-shooter. He was drafted like a Marcus Smart, someone who can't shoot but very athletic and good on the defensive side. He looks like, so far, he has developed that three-point shot very well. He's taken it. When they give it to him, he's taking it. And when they're not giving it to him, when they're all up on him, he takes it to the rim, and if he has to, he'll finesse it. If not, he'll take it with ferocity. He's doing very well on either of those. But another thing I like to see in the Celtics offense, Boston Celtics, not Summer League, the Boston Celtics have an offense in Brad Stevens where ball circulation is very key, kicking out the ball, very Warriors-like. But we obviously, the only problem is we don't have the Warriors team. But what I have seen is when he drives the ball, he isn't always thinking, I have to put it up, I have to put it in the hole. He knows when he's drawing that double team, he knows when he's drawing the extra man to kick it out, and he's done very well at that. My only knock on him so far is flashy passes. He's tried a few of them. They've been straight up intercepted, thrown right to the defender, or passed right to the defender. So that's my only knock on him. Work on it outside of the court. Bring it back when, you're confident enough to make good passes like that. You don't need to. But other than that, he's putting the ball up well. I don't know if you guys saw the Spurs game against the game against the Spurs in the summer. Game-winning, 3-pointer, 2 feet behind the line, and 1. He's just cold-blooded. He wants the ball when the time matters. He wants to control the offense. He wants to score. He wants to stack the scoreboard, and that sounds bad. Not in a Rondo way where he passes the ball to someone, they score, then he goes to the score table and says, hey, did you give me that assist? But in the way that he wants to do well at everything. He rebounds the ball well for a little guy. he passes the ball fairly well for a point guard, as he should pass the ball well for a point guard. But and he's scoring well, so he wants to do all things, and I think it's great. He's great on D, so he's my number 1 star so far. My number 2 star, it's a two-way tie, so I'll just go my 2 second stars, and that would be R.J. Hunter and Garrison Yabusele. Both of them have. I'm leaning towards Yabusele as my number 2 star, not necessarily R.J. Hunter. Nothing against him, but Garrison is a player no one expected anything out of. We drafted him this year with the 16th overall pick. He was projected to go at the end of the second round, and they took him in the middle of the first round. So a lot of people were not happy with that. Plus, he wasn't expected to even make the roster this year, or a rosters in D-League or Celtics. He'd stay in France and play. But he's showing that he will be an impact on the Red Claws team if he plays them potentially in a year, or maybe this season come up at some point off the bench for the Celtics. He's an energetic guy. He's 6'7", he's a power forward. That's, as you guys should know, that it's very short for a power forward. He's got the build. He's a bigger version of Draymond Green. That's what I see. And I'm not saying he's MVP caliber player. No, but he plays very similar to Draymond Green. He's too timid with the ball. When he gets the ball, he's only looking to pass it unless it's kicked out to him on the 3. His game is under the rim, getting rebounds, putting the balls back. He's not and yeah, they can pass it to him like Terry Rozier. I don't know how many times he's kicked out a 3 to him, and he will shoot the 3. And he's not like a Jared Sullinger where he came in from Ohio State, not a 3-point shooter. Garrison looks like someone who can shoot the 3, which is very good. He's got a nice stroke he's only 6'7", but you look at him, he's about as wide as a freaking barn door. He's huge. So he looks like he's comfortable shooting the 3, which in the Celtics offense is great. But he's a ball of energy to the point where he works so hard on the boards. When he doesn't get the rebound, I almost feel bad for him. Like, man, he worked so hard and he didn't get it. Like, I kind of just want to give him a hug because I feel bad. That's how hard of a worker he is. And I'm obviously kidding, but that should put that in your mind, I guess. Understand that's the type of guy he is. He's an effort guy. When everyone else is slumping and they see his effort, he's one of the guys that makes you want to up your game because he's just always going to go 100 miles an hour, 100%. But I like what I'm seeing from him. The one thing my one knock on him, other than his shyness with the ball in his hands, is his low post game. He doesn't have much of a high post game, but his low post game is a hook shot so far. That's what I've seen, is just a hook shot. Even when he's inside the paint, back to the basket, he's looking to pass. He's not looking to score unless he gets that rebound or he drives to the hoop, off of the pick and roll and drives. In that case, he's been phenomenal. But when it comes to someone passes it to him in the paint and he's supposed to back down or do whatever, he's always looking to pass, which is a fine thing in this offense. But I do want to see him take it to the hole a little bit more. And that's really my only knock on him, is his just shyness of the ball in his hand. He's always looking to pass. Put the ball in the net. I want to see him do a little more with that. But we'll get into R.J. Hunter. I'd say a tie, just because of how well R.J. Hunter is shooting the ball. It's gonna sound like I have more knocks on R.J. Hunter than I do pros, I should say. But overall, he's done very well shooting the ball. I think last night he was 4 for 6 from the 3-point line against the Suns. He's shooting the ball very well, and it's kind of to the point where it can hurt him because he will Steph Curry it, and he has that range. If anyone saw him in the NCAA tournament win the game on a buzzer beater from 4 feet behind the line, he's got the range. He's put up threes in the summer league that show he has the range. But it gets to his head almost where he'll make them and then he'll just start popping threes instead of looking to circulate the ball around the court. So I guess that's my knock on him. Other than that, I'd say another knock would be trying to do too much of the ball. Like I said, he'll start making his shots and then he starts to take over. And he can't take over. I mean, he can pop threes and you hit him in the corner with a 3, he'll make it. But he cannot alone take over a game, which is what he'll try to do. He did it last night. He'll drive and try to do, a hop, step, floater, and it's just That's just not who he is. He's a smart basketball player defensively. He makes some mistakes, but he's young. Smart player, wet shooter. Stick to that. And don't let it get to your head when you're doing well. It's to the point where you almost don't want to see him do that well because you know he's just going to forget about everything and try to put up points for the team, which is good and bad at the same time. But overall, I'd say it's been a good summer for him, for sure. He'll make the roster, no doubt. Garrison probably won't. He'll probably make the D League, or he might go to France. But I'd say he's going to be on the main red clause. Rozier is on the team. He's on the roster, no doubt. The way he's playing, he's averaging like 18, 6, and 6 right now. So I'd say he's definitely on. I mean, he is on the roster, no doubt. Now we're going to get into the one dud that I have that is just meh. It sucks. But what are you going to do? And that's James Young. James Young is still James Young. We drafted him. Everyone thought he was a spot-up shooter, but at Kentucky he wasn't a spot-up shooter. So that was the expectation coming out. Lefty shooter, had some sick dunks in college, but can't play a look of defense, and he hasn't done that in the summer. And if you can't do it in the summer, you can't do it on the NBA roster. I don't know where to go with him. I have such high expectations for him still, even though I feel like by now I should bring them down. I want him to be the all-around player that we drafted him to be, but it seems like shooting is going to have to be his calling. And he's done that well. I will give him that. He has shot the ball well, and that's no lie. So he's only a dud because my expectations are too high for him. For you guys, if he's a star, then I get it because he's shooting the ball well. But you gotta be able to. You gotta play defense to get on the court for the Celtics, and he can't. He's lost in the defensive end. He's lost inside the 3-point line, and sometimes he's lost outside of the 3-point line. If he's cold everywhere because all he's got is a 3-point shot. He is lost when he drives to the rim. Oh my goodness, he got blocked on 3 straight attempts the other night. I think it was the first summer game. Maybe it was only 2 straight attempts, but it felt like 3. It was awful. Defensively, he's a liability. And he's not good enough shooter to at least put him out there and be like, look, we'll make up for it elsewhere. He'll make up for it elsewhere with his shooting. He's not there yet. But it's annoying when he goes down to the D League and he drops 30 points, 5 and 5. You call him up and you get absolutely nothing from him. So it's frustrating. I need to lower my expectations for him. But he's shooting the ball well. I'll give him that. Now we're going to get into the guy everybody wants to talk about, as they should. He's the number 3 pick for the Celtics, number 1 pick overall for them this year, and that would be Jaylen Brown out of Cal Berkeley. Smart kid, you hear him talk all the time. Took graduate classes as a college student, and that's at Cal Berkeley. That's no joke. That's not like it's at Alabama, no offense to them, or Ohio State. That Cal Berkeley is an insanely hard school to get into, and he takes graduate students as a freshman. He didn't need to do that. He knew he was going pro after his freshman year, but he did it because he wants to. He likes to challenge himself, which I like. And he's going to have to challenge himself because he can't shoot. He can't. He can't shoot at all. At all. Can't shoot the ball. But he is defensively ready to contribute to a team. He will get minutes. I'm talking 15 a game maybe. Maybe more. Maybe a little less. Because he is defensively sound. There's no question he is defensively sound. He isn't a shooter yet, and we knew that when we drafted him. The Celtics knew that when they drafted him, that he needs to develop that shot. But one thing that works well, if you can't shoot, you got to play defense, and he can do that. But another thing that makes him valuable to this team is his ability to get to the basket is that of a 27-year-old small forward in the league's 9 years. That's how good he is at getting to the rim. No doubt. He makes it look easy. He really does. Not LeBron style, obviously. He doesn't make it look that easy. But he does make it look easy for a 19-year-old. He's got the build of a 29-year-old. It's stupid. But the knock on that is he can't finish at the rim. I mean, yeah, you're going to see him put a few back, put a few layups in the hole. But for what he is, which is a slashing small forward, athletic dunker, he cannot finish that well at the rim. And it's not as bad. Like, he can. I'm not going to say he can't. But he can't shoot. That's not a lie. Now, that's something that can be developed because, guys, he doesn't have a broken shot. He isn't Michael Carter-Williams. Michael Carter-Williams has a broken shot. He will never be a good shooter in this league. Jaylen Brown has a nice shot. It is a clean stroke. He will be fine. They're just going to develop him. And last night, actually, they had Isaiah Thomas on commentary. And he even said, they asked him about Jaylen Brown. How are you excited? How do you feel about playing with Jaylen Brown? And he said, it's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. I'm paraphrasing. And it'll be fun teaching him how to play basketball. And he didn't diss. It wasn't as in a diss. I made it sound like a diss. But everybody knows this kid is an athlete with the ability to bring the ball to the rim. His first game in the Summer League, he had 17 free throws. He did it last night. And last night, my beef was, look, he's the number 3 overall pick. You get him the ball. And they weren't getting him the ball. He had a bad game last night, no doubt. But they weren't getting him the ball, and you could see him get frustrated about it. Point being, he needs to get better at finishing at the rim. But because he gets to the rim with ease and such ferocity, I hope that's a word, ferocity. Anyways, you know what I'm saying, with just anger. He takes it to the rim mad. He gets fouled most of the time. That will change, obviously, when he gets to the NBA. They're not going to be fouling as much, but he is so quick, and he's got a plethora of moves when it comes to getting to the rim. He will keep getting fouled. That's not going to stop. He will get fouled less in the NBA than he is in the Summer League, but he will keep getting fouled, which makes him somewhat valuable in that sense. And his defense is there. It's ready. His shot needs to be developed. It's not broken. He's got a clean stroke. He's just got to develop it. That will happen. That can happen. I'm not saying he's going to be Ray Allen, but, I mean, he can be a fine three-point shooter, no doubt. He's got some great mid-range moves, too. Step-backs look fine. He's got the moves to be a shooter. People respect him to the point where they are not playing up on him very much. Because if you do, he will blow by you. Dragon Bender last night played all up on him behind the three-point line. And he jab-stepped him once, and he was gone. He was gone. He went by him so quick, it wasn't even funny. You got to respect him. And it's a respect thing because you're playing back because you don't want him to get to the rim. But it's also a diss in the sense that you know he's not a great shooter. He isn't awful. He just isn't a small forward shooter. He's not good. He's just not a good shooter. He can't really shoot that well. Which will be developed, I believe. But so far, I'm not going to make it sound like he's been a star of the Summer League. He hasn't. He missed 2 games. He hasn't shot the ball well. And he hasn't shot the ball. Most of his shots, he's taken a few threes, but most of his shots have been in the paint, finishing at the rim. Hasn't really done, but he's gotten fouled a lot, so you can't really count those. He's doing all right at the free throw line. He's taken a couple threes, but he hesitates. He's afraid to shoot the ball right now, not because he's like, oh man, I'm so bad, like Dwight Howard style, but he's just still nervous, and he admits that after the game. The nerves are there. Once he settles in, he'll put up more shots, and they'll go in. You know, that'll happen. They won't go in as often as he likes because he's got to develop it, but they'll go in. I have faith in him. I really do. I think when you can get to the basket as good as he can, you're going to get open shots. They will respect you. So he's going to get open shots, which will make it easier for him to make these shots. And then when it gets to the point where he can shoot at least a little bit better, they're going to have to respect that, and then he can go back to getting to the hole. But he's got to work on his shooting and finishing at the rim. It's not awful at the rim, but it could definitely be better for as well as he can get to the rim. So that is my overview of the Summer League so far. It's not over yet. I don't believe they have a game tonight. Maybe tomorrow night. Have a great day, everybody. Go Celtics.